Hello again, fantasy players, and welcome back to Engage 8. I'm Justin Stevens, and I thank you again for taking your time out to enjoy the show. Today, we're going to be discussing My Fantasy League. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of My Fantasy League's website and kind of how it works. So, My Fantasy League can be a little bit more complex than a lot of leagues, and it offers so many more options and customizations for commissioners out there. So if you're new to fantasy football, it might be a little bit more complex because the commissioners can get a little bit more complex with their customizations. So I'm just going to kind of dumb it down a little bit, make it more like what we'd like to do here at Engage 8, and that's Fantasy Football 101, right? So we're going to walk you through it a little bit step by step on the My Fantasy League site. Again, this isn't one that I would suggest you use if you're a beginner, if you can avoid it. But a lot of times you're just joining leagues that other guys are in, or you just want to expand out, and that's fine. And if you're good with computers, then you should have no issue at all anyway. So let me click to share my screen here. All right, now this should be sharing my entire screen, and I'll go to My Fantasy League here, my tab at the top. You see all my tabs there. I know I get made fun of for it a lot, but it's easy for me. It's what I like to do. I'm in a lot of different leagues, a lot of different sites, got a lot going on, plus the mortgage. But anyway, so this league is called Too Legit to Not Be Lit. My partner over at Toyless Titles, John Sheps, he runs this league. Wait. Okay. I guess I'll just leave that up so I know it's still sharing, so that's good. Okay, so he runs this league, and you can see all the different customizations he can do. This league really gives me a big 80s theme feel to it. You see a lot of teams that are kind of from the 80s. My team is Silence of the Lombardis. I made it an 80s theme myself because I didn't see very many scary movies or anything on here from the 80s, and I thought that'd be good to go along with the theme. But you see in the background, you can kind of see the DeLorean from Back to the Future back there in the background. So there's just a lot of different cool stuff that you can do on My Fantasy League to help make it fun. Somebody did these graphics and popped it up there and everything else. So home on this screen, we're just going to jump right into it because this is a little bit longer, so I'm going to make it as short as possible. The home button takes you to myfantasyleague.com's home. From there, you can sign up for new leagues or whatever. So we're not going to do that. We're going to move on. My leagues will take you to all your different leagues. So these are all the different leagues I have on My Fantasy League. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus the Too Legit league that we're currently on makes 10. This will show you your leagues from 2019, 2018, 2017, and so on. I was not on before then on My Fantasy League. Now I'm trying to steer as many towards My Fantasy League as I possibly can. Let's see. Join a mock draft. So you can join a mock draft right straight from there. Again, that's something we're going to go over a little bit more in detail later on. But let's say I wanted to click on my FCS league here. This one's really cool because I just want to show you how customized you can get. This one's extremely complicated, though. This one is set up to be like the NCAA. You can only hold a player on your roster for up to 4 years. 5 if you have an injury year, and 6 if you want to redshirt them 1 year. But after a player hits those maximums, they can no longer be on anybody's team. And you can see all the different teams that are in this league. We're all a different college team. I'm the Delaware Blue Hens or something like that in this league. But here's all the different conferences. There are, I don't know, like dozens of teams, fantasy football teams in this league. Okay, so each individual conference has their own set of players. So let's say Eastern Washington has Lamar Jackson in this conference. Nobody else in this conference can have Lamar Jackson, but somebody in this conference might. And it's set up just like in the NCAA and college football, where we all have our own individual conferences we're battling for, and then the best of the best from each conference move on to the playoffs the last few weeks. So it's really cool the way it's set up. But anyway, that's way too complex for today. So I just wanted to show you how customized you can get it. It's far more customizable than any other fantasy football league out there. Let's see. If we want to go to reports, this will show you the franchise reports. So your roster, what your starting lineups will look like across the board, transactions, previous waivers that were ran. These are all reports on the basic franchise level. Weekly results. You can click on who should I start, and that will help you determine who you should be starting each week. So in this league, it's telling me definitely start, or Nick Foles is who I should start, but I definitely need to be benching Jacoby Brissett. And right on down the line, it'll tell you all that. But it's also, once week 1 starts, it'll be more accurate and up to date and that sort of stuff. But obviously in this case, it's right because Jacoby Brissett is a backup again. Franchise, you can go down to the blind bid report. Again, that's more of a free agent acquisition fab money report that we're going to be going over a little bit more in detail later. A lot of this stuff, like trade bait, what trade bait is going to show you is if you have 4 really good quarterbacks and it's a super flex like this, it's going to tell you to keep your 2 best quarterbacks, and then the other 2 will it'll tell you those are the guys that you need to put on your trade bait. You can also click there to look for trade bait from other teams. So what other teams have listed as their trade bait. Player, this is a player reports, individual player reports. You can look at your top wide receivers based on this league scoring. As of right now, it'll be from last year, but it'll show you week to week once the season starts as well, or passers right on down the line. Your top performers, a full free agent listing. This shows all the free agents that are out there. You can click on that and then kind of simplify it yourself. If you're looking for if you're looking for tight ends, maybe you can choose what team. So like, let's say that Eric Ebron got hurt again for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, now you want to hurry up and get on and click on tight end for Pittsburgh and see who the free agents are. The free agent tight ends are for Pittsburgh. Well, in this league, there are none. All of their tight ends are currently rostered. This is a very deep league, so you might run in that a lot. Let's say Jack Doyle is injured. We'll go to Indies. Oh, okay. Well, here's a few that are available. I'm a Colts fan, and I didn't even know they signed Xavier Grimble. But Mo Alley-Cox, let's say Jack Doyle got hurt. Maybe now Mo Alley-Cox might have a shot because he is a massive, massive monster of a man. Maybe he might get an opportunity to score a touchdown in a really deep league like this. You can click on him real quick, and they'll give you the option to pick him up, which I don't believe you can in this league because it's locked right now. But usually there is an option down here somewhere to add a player or maybe buy his name up here. But for now, I could easily add him to my watch list as well if I wanted to pick him up as soon as it's available. But regardless, let's go back up here. If you want to search for a particular player, you can click right there, or you can also just scroll down here where it says player and just type it in. Maybe we want to check up on Andrew Luck and see if there's any recent news, see if there's a chance he might be coming back. Scroll down here and it'll say right here, latest player news. No recent player news. Oh, man, we're still stuck with Phillip Rivers. All right, well, that sucks. Okay. So we can go to standings. This will show you the overall standings, a weekly summary from last week, the power rank, which is really kind of only fun if you have a good team. Bar chart, I don't even know what that is. I mean, I still learn new stuff all the time by navigating these sites myself, but I guess we'll find out after the season starts. But this shows points for here, so I don't know. Tiebreakers, victory points. All right. Rules. Again, just like in the last episode, rules are extremely important in any league. You always want to make sure that you know what your league scoring is, so you know how to draft or who to target in free agency or in trades. The league settings, how many teams are going to make the playoffs, and how do the playoffs work? The history of the league, or what rules have been changed in the past. These are league reports, live scoring summaries, monthly calendar for your league, which some commissioners use that, some don't. We'll see if John uses it here. We have nothing going on in June. I don't remember when the draft is for this league. So let's jump to July. Oh, there it is. The draft starts at 8 a.m. This is a long draft. Some people used to call it an email draft, but pretty much it just means you have a very long clock, like 8 hours or something like that, 12 hours, depending on the league, to make your pick. So I know that on July 15th, the rookies only draft is going to begin. So that's pretty cool. All right. This also shows you starter points by position, the playoff brackets if the playoffs were to start today, the projected playoff seedings. Obviously, none of this is going to show anything right now because we're not in season yet. The fantasy schedule week by week, draft results from the most recent draft that you guys have had within your league. Again, draft result is very important to kind of gauge and judge how a fantasy manager wants to grade their player. So if they took Chris Godwin extremely high, higher than ADP, then they obviously think pretty highly of him. Maybe you might be able to trade to get a guy like Golden Tate from them because they waited too long. Everybody in the league waited a little too long, and he went a few spots behind ADP. Maybe he doesn't really care for him or like him as much, and you might be able to snag him because he didn't value him as highly in the draft. Future draft picks. This is cool. You can click on future draft picks, and it'll show you who has future draft picks and which ones. So this is 2021. So not this year's rookie draft, but the future one. So starting next year, and you can look right down here and see who owns what picks. I own 2 picks in the first round in this draft, just because that's how it falls. When you're talking about trades, I think this one was a disbursement league, so that's a whole nother set of ball game that you're not going to need to know about for right now. That'll be a much later episode. Let's see. So reports, rules, league. Okay, records. This shows all the league records. So career records, wins, losses, and that sort of stuff. So all types of different reports. The NFL reports, you can look at the NFL's injury report each week, the NFL schedule, the NFL box score. So this is all actual NFL level reports here. It says fantasy depth chart, but it's based off of what the NFL's depth chart is. So this is for owners. So for you, if you're ready to go into the draft room, you would click draft to go into the draft room. It doesn't really show anything right now because our draft doesn't start for a month. Preset your draft preferences and your draft list. So you can submit your lineup here. So you go to owners and click submit lineup, and this is how you can submit your lineup. The other way you can do it is down here at the bottom, right across here under the main league logo. These are all your main tabs that you're going to need on a more day-to-day basis. But if I were to click on submit lineup there, it still takes me to the same spot. Sorry about the pop-ups. I get crazy amount of pop-ups on this computer. I don't really know how to stop it. So if anybody out there is watching, you can help me out with that. Let me know. Let's see. So this is a super flex league. These are my quarterbacks. I have Dak Prescott and Jimmy G currently in the starting lineup, but when they hit their bye weeks, I might have to start Nick Foles if he's starting at that point, or Tyrod if he still has the starting position. But if not, then I can always, in a super flex, I can always start somebody at another position. So in this case, I'm pretty confident that I'm pretty strong for the most part at these positions. I might be able to fill in somewhere else. So that's submit lineup, add drops. This is where you can go to add and drop players off of your team, just like the last episode. All right. Just like last episode, add and drop players. You click on Jacoby Brissett, and it'll say down here, drop Jacoby Brissett. You can perform it right there if that's what you want to do. Most likely something I will be doing shortly after the season starts, unfortunately. I had high hopes for him, thinking that they would not sign Philip Rivers, but I was wrong. All right. Let's see. Rosters. You click on rosters, and this will take you to all of the teams within your league. This is really cool. This helps you make trades. Okay. So backup, could be a backup. So when it comes to week 10 and 11, I might need a quarterback. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on here and I'm going to look and see what quarterbacks everybody else has. Maybe because this is Coach Shep's, John Shep's team right here, SAS Squad. So let's go down. Maybe he has somebody on his taxi. Well, he doesn't, but let's say he did. Let's say he had a quarterback here in his taxi that's currently starting. Or actually, let's just go to a team that does. Okay, this team has Will Grier in their taxi. Maybe Will Grier is now the starter for the Panthers. And he doesn't need him because he's got all these other guys he has starting. Well, some of them are starters. But anyway, you get the point. I can just look at the teams or even look at the starters or the main roster. He's got Baker Mayfield, Big Ben, Ryan Tannehill, James Winston. So maybe he only needs Ryan Tannehill and Baker Mayfield because they're playing really well, and he knows Big Ben's retiring next year. After his bye week in week 8, maybe I can get him for a cheap draft pick just to have another quarterback during my bye weeks. So just something to consider. Player stats. Again, that's just another link for what we saw up here under reports and players. Standings. This is the overall standings. Within each division. A transaction report. Live scoring is where you're going to go on Sundays when you're watching your games. It's not going to show anything right now because there's no games going on. You can click on schedule to see your schedule. You can see your everybody's schedule from here, but you can go week by the week, or you can go by franchise just to look at yours. So that's really nice. If you want to look ahead to see who you're playing each individual upcoming week, see if maybe you need to stack up a particular bye week to try to get ahead of somebody else. Communication, this one's very important. If your league does not use some kind of a social media app like GroupMe or WhatsApp or Slack, Discord, something like that, something where everybody can communicate together, Facebook, Instant Messenger, something, then you're going to need to click on message board or email the entire league or something on a regular basis to let them know when you have a player that's up for grabs or on the block for trade, or if you're looking for a particular position or a particular player in a trade, you got to communicate somehow. I still haven't tried this one yet, Trash Talk Videos. Might have to give that a shot at some point this season just to try it out. But yeah, the league message board is highly important. This is also how the commissioner can update you on this site on different things that need to be voted on, new rules, or reminders of when the draft is and all that sort of stuff. You can set a league poll, which is really fun. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Any of the important stuff for my fantasy league. So another awesome customization thing that I really like. I'll show you one in particular that's really fun. My Jolly Roger Pirate League that I'm in. This is kind of like a pink slip league. They call it a pirate league. But essentially, if you lose, then the other team gets to take somebody off of your starting roster and keep them for free for good. Like this is a dynasty league, so you keep all these players. So so it's pretty interesting. So you pretty much have to win week 1 to give yourself a decent shot. But anyway, you can see all the different pictures, the map they put in the background here. They customize the divisions. You got the Blackbeard division and the Dread Pirate Roberts division. My team name is Releasing the Kraken, and one of the guys in the league set me up with this awesome logo banner here, so that's really cool. But yeah, if you click on your team's banner like that, it'll take you to the basic customizations too for your own individual team. So you can change your team name or change your logos and your banners and all that to whatever you want too. So that's really cool. Change your email address and all that sort of stuff. So there's that. So we're going to go back here. And that's pretty much it. So just to remind you guys, you can email us at engage8fantasy@gmail.com. We do check that regularly. We also even more regularly check the @engage8 Twitter handle. So send us a message if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Also, with this particular video, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave us a comment at the bottom. Please hit that thumbs up if you liked what you saw. And if you're interested in seeing more information about Fantasy Football 101, then please click that subscribe button down below and give us a subscribe so we can try to build up a little bit more of a following here. I will be bringing you more in the near future on different 101 type things like this. Like we're going to be going over fleaflicker.com soon. Later on tonight, I'm actually going to be recording a video for our projections for the NFL season coming up between me and a special guest. So that'll be a lot of fun too. Not sure if that episode will air before or after this one, but make sure you check it out. And again, you can get a hold of me at JustinFF_. And I thank you very much for you taking your time out to watch this video, and good luck.